Greetings. Greetings, family. This is Natural of No Kukai Tribe. We have an interesting live today. I want to thank all my participants for showing up and showing out. And we're actually waiting for one more person, and we'll give them a few minutes, but we will not hold up this conversation. You know, we're going to ask that those who view this video a later date and time, which most people do, if you would hit the hit the like button on your way in, and please subscribe if you haven't. For those that are new to our channel is about anybody who has ever had a thought or inkling about leaving United States or whatever country you live in, finding your own country, embracing it and making it your own, and everything that comes with it. Now, of course, our topics are always about everything that comes with it. Currently, we are in United States of America for about more weeks, or less than 8 more weeks. And our lives are every Monday. So if you're here, whether you tune in later, we want to welcome you to our live. So we are expecting one more person. I'm sure you can see the topic. You asked for it. It's 1,600 of y'all. It's almost 1,600 of y'all. Y'all asked for this, and I'm just delivering. Yes, we've had discussions on this topic before. And of course, I am an advocate. I've lived this way twice. You can see the topic. It's going to be raw and uncut today. And so welcome. I'm just making sure everything is right so everybody can hear us. And like I said, we're waiting for one more person. So let me tell you, first of all, y'all probably wondering why I got the ice pack here, because I was telling the king and the queen that's already here with us, I need a shoulder massage, and it's just not right. So we're here to talk about these things today, because somebody gonna probably have to share after we start kicking these numbers out here, because statistic wise, there's always been a shortage of our men. We're gonna stick to our men because I don't study no other man but ours. And there's always been a shortage. The numbers are short. They're short here in America. They're short in Grenada where I live. They're just short. So I don't know what we think we're going to do with those numbers, but those numbers are the truth. Statistics are the truth, at least real close to the truth. And it says that we're in a shortage. So for every man, there's at least 4. Well, it was 5 women to 1 man the last time I checked. And then I think it was 4, and then it was 7, but it's always more of us than them. So we're here to discuss the topic. Polly, have a good time, Queen.
Good thing, because you wouldn't be alive.
We're here to discuss the topic, poly versus cheating. I'm sure we all have had experiences with cheating. Have you guys had experiences with cheating? Have you ever cheated? Seriously.
No.
Have you ever been cheated on? If you haven't cheated, you've been cheated on. Okay, so we've all been cheated on, and we've all probably cheated. Whatever the situation is, we all have experience in this area. I was sharing, I'm gonna just give a brief on one of the videos about this topic, how we were kind of raised real close to polygamy. The only difference, because dad always had somebody outside of mom, there was another set of children to prove it. And I'm just saying, the only difference, the only thing that didn't make it polygamy was they couldn't move like sisters. We talking, and let me give you my definition of polygamy before we start reasoning, because that's what we're doing. There's no right or wrong answers to this. What you believe is what you believe. What you like to experience is what you like to experience. If you've experienced, if you've never, if you had a thought, then those are your thoughts, and nobody's here to condemn nobody. But the only thing that made it not polygamy, they couldn't move like sisters opposed to enemies. Polygamy for me is decent and in order. I'm not here to talk about a threesome. I'm not here to talk about menage a trois. Now, if those are the dynamics of the couple that decide to, or throuple, or whatever you are, if those are your dynamics, what you sit down and discuss, then that's your business. But we're talking about decent and in order, because if our goal is to keep him happy, then you and I should be having conversations on our own. We should be out to dinner discussing our own conversations. Now, everybody don't have to be a believer. I think me and Queen Nubia had this conversation before, and we end up going into religious beliefs. If that happens again, oh well, we're here to discuss it all. You know, so I guess my first question would be, have you guys ever thought about it? Ever thought about living that way? If you haven't, or if you have, and anybody can go first. King or queen, you can go first. Have you ever thought about it? Had a discussion about it? Thought like, wow, this would be nice, or you just feel like the women in your area ain't having it. Whatever your experience, I want to hear it.
Please. I have.
Okay.
I've been approached by women to come join their family like 5 times. And I've been approached, yes, and I've been approached by a few brothers too. And it's just not my thing.
Okay, so wait a minute, hold that thought. So you said you've been approached. So when the women come, so they looking for a sister wife, and they were inviting you into their marriage or relationship.
Yep.
And then you said opposite direction, the same thing. Would you like to come in? So you said you're not with it. So you just not with it because what? You don't believe in it?
Okay, so I it's not for me. Do, as much as I am against it for myself, I do think that with these 2 women, only 2 who already know each other and they're sisters and they trust each other, if they were to approach a brother and wanted to have that type of situation, I think like that it could work. I don't think that where it's the husband and he already has a wife and he didn't tell her what his real intentions were, and then he wants to just tell her, oh, this is what I want. I mean, I don't like it, but for somebody else, maybe they may be okay with it. But a lot of times our sisters are not. A lot of times we just don't want to share not because we're selfish, but it's been men who have told us that we're selfish. And they use that what I want for myself, I want for my sister. Is that what it is? Or what I want for my
what I want for myself, I want for you, what I want for myself. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it comes from men who, if the shoe was on the other foot, it's not for them. They don't want that. The men don't want that. There's no man that's going to share his woman. So why is it so frowned upon that a woman doesn't want to share her man?
Okay.
He's not going to share his woman. I'm not going to willingly share my man. I'm just not going to do it. Now, my father had 2 families.
Interesting. Can you give us a brief synopsis on that?
So my father he was legally married to my mom. He had 5 daughters with my mom, and he had 5 sons with his other wife that he wasn't legally married to. So I'm the oldest. And one day when I was about 8 years old, I came home and there was a little boy in the house. And I was like, Daddy, who's that little boy? He said, that's your brother.
Okay, let me ask you one question. Hold that thought. Then I'm going to call in the king because I want him to pick on, because you went into polyamory when the 2 women want 1 man. So I want King to tell us why men won't have that. I thought we was going to wait a minute. I want to go back to you, though.
Okay.
Was mom and the other mother of the other set of children, were they moving like sisters or enemies?
They were not enemies and they were not sisters. They were just dealing with the situation. And my father wanted his children together, so he was always together. They just was like she went her way, she went her way. They didn't say much about it. But that was the era that they came from, giving men all that power to do what they did. My mom wasn't leaving because she was the wife. She just wasn't leaving until later on. So
Okay.
that was
Eventually she left.
yeah.
Thank you,
She
sis.
left.
Hold that thought. Y'all want to jump over to King Kanjo. King, give us some of what she said. First of all, she went into polyamory. She went into brothers ain't gonna have it.
And most brothers won't, just like most women won't deal with polyamory. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them things.
But look, my take is women can't do what men do. Period. I mean, we can be hookers, we can be prostitutes. We ain't here to talk about all that. But I'm saying we're talking decent and in order, remember.
Right.
So in a right state of mind, a man can have more than one woman, but can we really lay there and have 2-3 husbands?
Why not? See, I'm making dialogue. Why not?
So you open. If your woman came home and said, King, I love you, you know I love you and everything.
I never
but
said
can I
that.
introduce you?
I said I'm making dialogue. I'm definitely not with that. You know what I
You
mean?
said
But
I
some
ain't
people
saying
are. I
that.
have seen it, and I've had people make that argument with me that most men that want that will not accept a woman doing it. So then that makes the woman feel like she's being downgraded or something in their world. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? It's like they're
I
putting
hear you.
themselves
I
down
hear you.
for the next man. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's why I say it's an individual thing. I think ultimately we trying to bring something that was in a old way of life, and when you look in a civilized world, you don't see it. You only see it in
Wait a
indigenous
minute.
cultures, and if you see it,
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Indigenous cultures. Hold that. I just want to welcome in Carol. Carol, welcome. She said, greetings, kings
bless
and
the Lord.
queens. All right. Welcome, sis. We're honored to have you. Please join in. If you have a question or if you have a statement, just hop in and we'll respond to yours too. But wait a minute. You said in an indigenous world. So you saying because every man in the Bible had another wife, the Quran sure can have. So we ain't got to break
But
them
I
down.
said
But
in the modern
is that old? Is that really
in the
old?
modern world, if it's a religious society, yeah, you're gonna have it. But everybody in that society is gonna be that. They're gonna all be Muslims, and it's gonna be part of their culture. You're dealing with some people that's in America right now that's living in a digital world, trying to bring an ancient way of life into a digital world, and there's no template for it in a civilized world unless it's religious. Now, if you get into a religious thing, then you got it's all over the place when you're
But
dealing
I
with
don't
religion.
know. I don't think it's religious. Only because, let me just give you a few examples. Okay, my first upfront and close experience with somebody allowing me to see inside was when I lived in South Africa. Now, I know it's another country, and I know it's a country where men are allowed to have more than one wife legally, and it has nothing to do with religion in South Africa. It's just a way of life.
Isn't that
And
indigenous though? Not to cut you off.
indigenous, you're right.
Isn't that indigenous? That's what I say. I've traveled a lot, and you don't see that in the civilized world unless it's under a religious banner. Now, if you're under that religion, and now if you really go back in the days, it wasn't even the wife who would get the extra woman. It would be the mother who would grab the other
Extra.
woman that could bring something to the society. It was a different culture back then, and everybody was doing that. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring something into a world. That's why it's going through all of this craziness it's going through, because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
trying to bring it into a modern world, and it's something that's really indigenous. And then when you take some from the ancient world and try to bring it into this world, you corrupt it some kind of way, because you're going to have to adapt to the new world that you're living in. You're going to have to bring ancient ways into a new world that we're not in a village. We're not living that life. We're all individuals here.
So wait a minute.
So in order to adapt to that, you're gonna have to corrupt it some kind of way. Not even corrupt it, make your own rules along the way. My viewpoint is all on the individual. I don't care what people do.
It is all on the individual. It is, because like I said, I lived that way twice. I don't know if I'm ever interested in living that way again, but I won't. I never say never. So wait a minute, I want you to jump in, Queen Nubia. So you telling me, King, you telling me if you had a woman today, and you may have, understand, say you got a woman today, right now in your life,
right,
and then you ran into me, who is really, really attracted to you. I'm just saying, you're beautiful. You're freaking beautiful. I'm just giving you a real life scenario. Right now, we just happen to meet each other through some business transactions, right? And what if we really felt the energy? The energy was so strong between us that it almost felt like magnets when we were embracing each other in each other's presence, and we had to have a conversation and say, wow, and we talk about that energy and go home and couldn't stop thinking about it. You mean to tell me if we had an opportunity to say, wow, maybe, do you think and then you went and took it to your wife, you don't think she would be okay with it even if you wanted it? And you said, wow, I really, really need Sister Natural in my life, and we really feeling this connection. You don't think that would be something that could possibly happen today?
That's what I'm saying. That if I was married, my ex-wife, I was married 30 years, and hell no, that wasn't happening.
So wait a minute. Was it really a hell no? You know for sure?
Hell no.
You never gave her the opportunity.
It was a firm hell no. It was a firm hell no. With the foot down and the neck. And the neck. Like, how dare you even bring that up? So I never even would bring. I already know what that is. And a lot of times, a lot of women look at it like a lack of discipline.
For who?
You know,
the man or the women?
Yeah, either way. You can look at it either way. You know what I mean? Because there's the other, whatever the word for the two women, or the woman and the two men, or three men, whatever.
Yeah.
It could be lack of discipline. You know, that's another way to look at it. I don't see me. I was married 30 years. I've thought about it, and I know in this society you would have to create your own rules. If we couldn't bring what was in the old world, what people are actually trying to do.
Absolutely. You want to set boundaries. You want to practice a whole lot of stuff. If you're going into something like we're talking about, you want to practice better communication, better comprehension. You want to better trust, better doing away with the past, because people come in relationships with baggage, period. You would have to free up a whole lot of ways. This is a journey.
What if one of the women decides she wants another husband within that situation? Is it just one big happy family where everybody's just freeing up? You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. When you coming after this, so get ready.
People that talk too. I've heard that conversation from a lot of women.
But I think people should shouldn't you set your standards?
I would think so. That's what I'm saying. As a man, I know what I would want. You know what I'm saying? And if I was presented with it and I decided to do that, then she would have to go. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be allowed.
So if she decided she wanted, maybe because you should set that from the beginning. And if somebody decides they want that, then you're free to go have it. It just can't happen here. That should be established from the beginning.
I think that's the rules, and that's that's what I was saying. We're trying to bring something into a society where that's not the culture, and those type of situations thrived in a place where they all were in the same tribe.
So you think it's over? It can't possibly be decent and in order.
I'm just saying it's gonna have to be upgraded if it is to happen in this society. It's gonna have to be upgraded in a way, because it's no longer I need an extra wife that cooks better, or this one here is a good soul and she could bring something to the family, and she, you know what I mean? Her family has these cows, and it's not that situation no more. And we're not all living amongst each other doing this. So whatever it is, it would have to be, the rules would have to be set to adapt to the society we're in. And whenever you do what we're talking about, You
Yeah.
wind up looking like Nature Boy.
Wait a minute, King.
You
I'm gonna
see what
tell
I'm
you
saying? You
why I
wind up
don't
looking
agree
like
with
him.
you.
You wind up looking cultish
Oh
when we
no.
try to do it.
Come
When
on,
we
Queen
do it,
Nubia.
it looks cultish. You know what I mean?
Nature Boy is
But
a poor example. Oh my goodness.
that is a poor example, and I'm gonna tell you
Woo!
why. Because cheating is
Mm.
at an all-time high. See, I'm the type of
But
woman
didn't
that
he have all the wives? Wasn't he the one that wanted all the wives and was living off the land and all of that good stuff? I ain't really followed
Yeah,
like that, but
he was, but he was abusive. He was so abusive.
oh,
He
see,
had some
don't
beautiful
I ain't
every
study him
last.
like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Well, that's I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
But
know
I
about
just
him.
but if to me, if you bring it out, you could take Dr. York. You could take any one of these alternative
Another one.
societies that tried this thing, it wind up looking cultish.
Hmm.
I
That's
don't know. I met
if
a
that's look,
really
that's if
beautiful.
we in a society where that's happening. Now, if you got an individual that's building his own world in this society and has his wives and whatever he's doing that they're creating their own, that's that. But a society, what I'm talking about, that was indigenous cultures, we don't have that. And whenever we try to do that, it wind up looking cultish as
Hmm.
us, as a people. You could go to indigenous places and see it. And it's
Well,
all the same.
maybe that's where I'm coming from because I'm in a place like when I lived, say when I lived in Antigua and Barbuda, that was a couple years ago. But you ever see something in life that was so beautiful, and the memory of it was so beautiful, you never ever forget it because it was 2006 when I experienced it, and it's 2025, and it's still so fresh in my mind. It was the most beautiful throuple I had ever seen. And they was moving like sisters and not enemies, but that was Antigua, and they were Israelites.
That's what I'm saying. The
So once
religious.
again, they understand. They have a formula. They have a format, and they know you got to know thyself to go into something. So
They were
yeah,
under the
okay,
religion.
then
They
that
all.
part I agree with, but I still think it could have because cheating is at an all-time high.
No,
People are accepting cheating, and that's crazier. And that ain't got nothing to
yeah.
do with people are accepting cheating rather than Queen Nubia. What you think? Wait a minute. Red Moon Culture said, long story short, she said today's humans and their understanding won't allow. Wow.
That's what I was trying to say. I mean, but you can do it if you set the rules and you have women that's with that. That's gonna be hard enough to find in this society anyway, just for
Yeah.
one. But you would have to set the rules and then you would have to create your own world that's outside of this world. You know what I mean? That's
So
or like I
Nubia,
said,
Queen
take
Nubia, what do we do with the all-time high cheating then? That's more easier to accept,
No,
y'all.
no, it's not. So we
say
have
that
to
again.
make some serious decisions about our lives because there are men cheating and women cheating, bringing diseases and things like that. The trust is gone. Black men and the state of black men and black women right now, anyway, from what I'm seeing, is so many that just don't like each other. No one's trying to like. I mean, there are some, but there's a lot who
I
are
hear
not
you though.
really
I hear you.
trying to heal each other, help each other, and be united and get healthy. It's too much unnecessary drama and hate and fighting going on. So
That's
how you
why I
going
think
to even have a monogamous relationship? I mean, how you going to have a polygamous relationship and we can't even get the monogamy
We can't
together?
even get to the poly. I mean, yeah, the monogamous. So King, oh God, what has happened to the black man and the black woman single by themselves? What is happening? Because I'm 10 months divorced, and you just said you divorced after 30 years, and I'm after 6 years of marriage. I'm brand new divorce. Wow. So what's happening to black love, you think? Period.
I think we have healing to do. I think we really
Healing.
have some healing.
A whole lot of healing.
We got it, and I think that's where the religious stuff come in. If we had spirituality, then I think we would understand what that dynamic is. And until we figure that out, we're gonna keep going through it because we're trying to figure out ourselves through the next person, through our wife or husband. And until you really know yourself, I think the other person is gonna be a reflection of pretty much where you at and what you need to heal. You
And
know,
I
I
bet,
think that's what we're going through right now. You know what I'm saying?
I
Trying to
like
figure
that.
it
I
out.
like that. You hear that, Queen Nubia?
yeah,
And you
I
can't
wanted
be
to
trying to
say that.
reflect through your partner. You got to come in with your own stuff and enhance the
Right,
next person's life. You can't be coming expecting the person to heal you. No, you come in healed already. And
right.
we got so much work to do.
Or you know,
Mhm.
the other person can help you heal along the journey too. You know, but it's got to be from a spiritual
Gotta
place.
be
I think
you. Yeah.
it's got to be coming from a spiritual place because I think in that spiritual place you know the oneness, and then once you truly know that oneness, then you operate from that place, and then you're just looking at reflections. Then you can only
Um,
operate from that. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Now we all got our stuff, and we all need to heal, and we all going through it. I tell you, I had a 30-year relationship I had to heal, so I get it. But
Wow.
from what I see, I don't know too many people around me that lasted. A lot of my friends are cheating, of course, so I get what you're saying about the cheating thing. You know,
It
it could
seems
be
to be the thing. It's the way now, and everybody's okay with it. Because if you keep walking into your man with a next woman, I'm saying, why don't y'all just talk then and become
but
sister wives?
but isn't
Why
that
leave
is
that sister out? Because
but
she's
isn't
his
that
woman
because of the
too.
society we living in again? You know what I mean? Isn't that the society we living in? Because if we was in another society, in a village setting where that was prevalent, everybody know each other. You can't sneak around and do anything. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mhm.
Isn't it, everybody know each other? You're walking around, everybody know each other where they live at,
Social
who's
media,
children, who
cameras.
when they who you go knock on somebody's door, they know this person. You know what I mean? So you can't get away with nothing like that. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what brought about that polygamy thing. I don't know, but I know in this society, it's hard enough to try to do it in the
I want to.
society. You would have to create your own rules. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. We're trying to bring something indigenous, and the indigenous
I
thing
would expect you to
had a
create your own
village.
rules
The
because you're
indigenous
gonna
thing,
have to get all that other stuff, and for all the people that around you that don't understand with their beliefs, whether they're religious or not, you're gonna have to do away with that. You're gonna have to be strong and kind of secure in yourself because
Mhm.
everybody around you ain't gonna understand your life. And if you ain't secure enough to handle that, go ahead, Queen Nubia. Let us hear what you got to say.
As far as religion, right? Islam, even Christianity, Hebrew Israelites, um, allowing men to have more than one wife,
Mm,
right? That's patriarchy. That's it's male-centered religions. So, like
mm,
in those days, women didn't have the right to even speak. You were seen and not heard. We were supposed to be barefoot and pregnant.
mm,
So, and not just in Islam, in whatever Chinese religions are. I did a little study on it back a few years ago, and
mm,
if a Chinese man brought
mm,
a new woman into his home to live, the wife couldn't say anything. She could be beaten. Many of them were. Remember, men were allowed to
mm,
beat their wives. So bringing another woman in, that's just another part of patriarchy. That's another part of the disrespect that was allowed, and women couldn't say anything about it. It was a part of abuse. Women just couldn't say
mm.
anything, and it happened all over the world. It happened all over. Like it's not new.
I
So,
mean, but
but
then, not to cut you off, but then the Egyptians pushed the women up front.
yes,
And I think in that's the way it's supposed to be. Because a woman is more nurturing and she's not gonna send her children out to die in war like we would go out
Absolutely.
for some managed reasons. So I think that's why you should put the woman up front, even though the man should be a joint thing. But I think the woman should at least have the last say in the war situations and certain things like that, because she's the nurturer. She's the one that's gonna do
Mm,
the best that's for her family and the tribe and the village and everybody else. us as men, we're getting our feelings sometimes and want to just go out and do things just cause, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Okay.
ultimately, it has to be a joint thing, but the
Hmm.
patriarchy thing, I think, went out of control, like Queen Nubia was saying. I think after a while, men realized they could dominate and control and rule, and I think we went through just doing that. Men did, at least. You
Damn.
feel me?
Put it in the book.
Woo!
I'm just the raw
Give it a
reality of it. When you
religious
study,
name.
But this is getting
when you
sad
study
though, y'all,
history,
because we still got to go back to the numbers. There's still a shortage, and the goal of polygamy was so no woman would be left behind. What about all the women left behind? Somebody gonna have to share. Them numbers are real now. Them numbers ain't going
Okay.
nowhere. We supposed to act like they're not there.
well, you mean to tell me these women can't find nobody? We got in the
They
internet
probably
age,
got somebody, but
in
it's
the
somebody
internet age, in
else's.
the digital age. Come on now.
Other
It,
people's property.
There's somebody for everybody, but you know what? Do we want the men that are out there? Do we want the men that are available? Do we want them? A lot of them, we don't.
Yeah, we want the ones that are out there, but where they at? They're in jail,
Some
or
of-
they're gay, or their pants are hanging too low.
and
And
it's the
so the few
same.
we
And
got
it's the
left, we
same
gonna
on the
have to
other
share.
side.
The ones I
Okay.
wanted, they ain't even the ones I wanted aren't even men anymore. They done
And
changed
what
their
and
whole
what
thing.
if what if like you've done the work on yourself, you've done the work, you're into spiritual healing, you're at peace, you're doing well, you're operating on a higher frequency, and the men that you meet are not. You're not going to want to settle and say, well, at least I could have somebody. A piece of
So,
man is better than none.
But
It's kind
men
of
going
hard
but
through
you
to
the
just
do
same
gonna
that.
thing.
settle for something? You can't settle for something because it's better than none. You won't be
Men
full. You
going
won't
through
be
the
filled.
same
You won't
thing
be able
though.
to be your best. Huh?
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to the numbers of well, when it comes to the numbers too, what about the demographic? What about where you are? If you live in a Vermont, like I'm not going to find a black man that's conscious in Vermont. Where like where are you? If you're
You ain't
in
gonna find none where I'm at neither. Well, it's 138 square miles, first of all, just like the king just said. Everybody knows your name. So you might can get down with two of them, but after that, you're gonna become the village hooker or something. I'm just saying. You might can get down with two, one up country and one downtown. After that, where you going? I mean, what you gonna do? The places I love to live, which is Africa and the Caribbean. So what? So what? What we gonna do
and you
here?
know what? And
And
I
we
live
only got
in
one
America.
king sitting here, and he's just divorced. He got the hill. So it's five of us that need something. So what we gonna do?
What is the man going to do?
So you wouldn't take all
What is
five
the
of us
man
home.
going to
Huh?
do? I just got out of the marriage and I'm just looking at the field and it's like crazy out here. So
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's
it is.
crazy.
Yeah, the
So,
dynamic is all messed up.
and I like
It's
I
all
say, I'm
messed
the wrong person to talk about this because I had one relationship and was in 30 years. So
And you was committed.
I can
You
only
never
speak
went
because I'm
outside
a
of your
real.
relationship.
What's that?
You never
What'd you
went
say?
outside of your relationship.
Yeah, and I told her and she did too. But I looked at that as
okay.
at the time I looked at that as us healing or growing, I guess. Healing more than anything, you know? So I took that as a lesson. We both did. So, but
Yeah.
I knew she wouldn't have been with
Well, I'm glad y'all was able to get through it. Thank you for sharing
Mhm.
that, King, because most people, when they step out, because it don't always have to mean nothing, it's nice to be able to get through something, but people be so concerned about somebody looking at you stupid or calling whatever. But thank you for sharing that y'all stayed and worked
I
it
was
out.
young,
You couldn't work it out no more.
teenagers, you know what I mean? I was young, so that's to be expected, I think, from a young man. And
Thank you.
and her too. I think it's just growing. You gotta allow people. I think at the time, of course, I wouldn't want that to be, but the reality of the world is it is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to deal with it as it is, not what you want. That's what I was saying about the polygamy
So
thing.
this is just the way it is. We
Yeah.
could possibly just be like this till we leave this earth.
Nah, I don't think that. I think there's a lot of men out there searching for that and would like that. Where these relationships where this is working, I've known a couple that I saw that looked like it was working pretty good, but you don't see that on a regular. What happened with your relationship, Nature? If you don't mind me asking, you had two of them,
Yeah, I have two marriages.
I can't figure out how a man could mess up something where you let him have other women. That just I can't even fathom that in my mind.
Well, that wasn't in my marriage. Well, my first marriage, it was there. It was me. He didn't really. We just became friends in the last 13 years. So, but he didn't really know how. He had spent a lot of his time incarcerated. He had spent his time incarcerated, and then the Creator had turned my life around. So I'm a grateful recovering addict. So I got clean, and he went to jail. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm about 15 years clean or so at that point, at that time and point, and I'm thinking the same thing that the Creator did for me, he done for him, whether it was in jail or not. But when a man goes to jail for any amount of time, and surely the amount of time he went, that takes a lot away from a man. So then you got to learn how to. You fit into two categories. Either you got to learn how to live, period, because you never knew how to live, or you got to learn how to live all over again. And it was a struggle for him. And I married him. I said yes in the middle of me knowing that he did not know how to live, period. So I had no business marrying my friend of 30 years because we was friends for 30 years. So that was that. It wasn't so much his fault. I should have fell back and said, heal, brother. Live your life first. Learn how to live. Because he went from using drugs to incarceration. I had no business doing that. So that maybe had something to do with my own self-esteem. Just let him live. If he was your friend, you would have let him live natural. So that's that. That was the first one. The second one, I kind of did it again. And see, you got to be really careful. People be excited by my life. You know, you live here, you live there. But things come with that. When island people, I'm going to say island and African, because Africa, when they hear this language, this is a white man's language in the places I live. So when they hear this tongue, they automatically think you got money. No matter how you put it, they used to get offended. So that second husband, and I don't want to talk about him any kind of negative way either, but the begging, he started begging from the very beginning. I had no business getting married. For what? Your first time in his presence, he started begging. See, I'm the type of person, you ain't got to ask me for nothing if you my man. Whatever I eat, you eat. Wherever I sleep, you sleep. That's how I get down. But that begging thing, I literally had to say, you making me a little uncomfortable. You have to stop asking me for money. You have to stop. And he said I was disrespectful and no woman ever talked to him that way and blah, blah, blah. So the relationship really never got off the ground. We lived under the same roof for 7 days out of 6 years. And that was because he asked before them divorce papers came, can we try to work this out? And I said, of course, but no. So we never really had a solid marriage the second time.
So even start the polygamy thing then. You couldn't even
Let me tell you where the polygamy thing came in at. How much time we got? Okay. So the polygamy thing is after that first separation. Actually, I was kind of still in it, but it was over and we were still under the same roof because I built a beautiful home on the island of Antigua. Didn't really get to enjoy it because the wrong husband. However, after that was over, I started dating a Muslim guy. And we knew that the energy was strong, that energy we talked about. And anyway, long story short, I will not have anything to do with you unless you ask the permission of your first responsibility, because you are a Muslim man and you can have up to 4 wives. Of course, if you can take care of them spiritually, mentally, financially, emotionally. I thought he was capable. She didn't really think he was capable. Finally gave us permission to go out to dinner and talk about it. She kind of said no, but she gave me her reasons why. because she was raised Seventh-day Adventist. The family was already asking her, "Who's that tall, beautiful woman be hanging around you and your husband? You better be careful." She was honest. I really think he'd fall in love more with you than me, and I'm afraid of that, Natural. She was straight with me, and the only reason I got any respect for you, Natural, is because my women love my husband, and my husband loves women, and I'm afraid because you two kind of exciting. So I dropped her off home. He says, "Turn around and come back." And he said he needed this to happen, and she ended up leaving eventually. So that was a long story in a nutshell. That was through that first, but you know how everybody gets a turn. When two people separate, it's always going to be one person that has a more difficult time. Like this marriage, this last divorce, it seemed like he was calling me all kinds of names. I couldn't walk past his booth. Now, even though Brother Khalid was not my husband, I told him my marriage was over. We still in the same house, and Brother Khalid was the brother with the polygamy. But even it was difficult for me when the relationship couldn't be no more, because I really dug him. I really dug the way he moved, the fact that he took the risk. The fact that we all sat down and talked about it, even though the sister couldn't stay. She stayed for a while, but she couldn't. That Seventh-day Adventist would not let her stay. It was too embedded in her. And then all her people were around her. She said, "Sister Netra, you don't have to worry about anybody seeing you. Your family's all in America. They looking at me like, is you crazy?" So she couldn't deal with all that. And I understood all of that. She said, as bad as I want to say yes, because it for us, it was about growing. I was a school teacher. He was the top pharmacist in the hospital. And he had a culture shop, all African library culture shop. Just three beautiful spirits who could have, the sky was the limit. Beautiful people. Conscious-minded three people. So it would have surely been like a legacy type growing thing. It wouldn't have been no nonsense. And it surely wasn't about us being together, because I'm not into women. She wasn't into women. It would have been about us seriously trying to bring happiness to him and ourselves. It was not no nonsense. But she gave her reasons, and I had to respect them.
In an ideal situation in this society, it would probably work if everybody's building for the children and you raise them in that, and I'm sure it could work. I don't know, I'm sure it could.
Well, let's read this.
I've seen a lot of people try it and it not work, put it that way.
Okay. Well, my Sister Michelle just came in. Sister Michelle said, given that many men today face difficulties in taking care of themselves, they do. They do. Considering that their struggles go beyond financial issues, and they do. Thank you, Michelle. Welcome to the live. Our brothers are struggling, and that's the only reason it could work. It could work in the Caribbean, but I'm gonna tell you why, because poverty is so high in certain places. And you got to be able to do things mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally. And because poverty is so high, there is not even a dating culture on the island of Grenada. It don't exist, because they know to date a woman, you got to do something. Everything don't have to cost. You can get real creative in my world, but something's going to have to cost. And it's difficult to take a woman out and date her properly and court her properly. They can't do it. So all they do is try to throw around what they have, which is good sex and good love. And after that, it's over. But it can't be over there. So there is no dating culture in Grenada. I'm serious. There's none. And it's a shame, because it's 90.
So the women don't know any better than that's what they're used to.
The few that I've talked to, they said that's just the way it is. They expect us to take care of them. I said, so you settle for this? Well, that's the way it is. It's what we got. And then the sisters that I meet that have pretty much choices. Their men are like white, Caucasian, pink, and different stuff. I just refuse to go out. I can't get enough for the black man. I don't know. I guess if I left the black man alone, I probably could have a man, but I can't do it.
I can't either.
So
I
I'm
can't
just.
It's I think it gets difficult when you're looking for someone within the culture and that's conscious and all of that. Then it gets very small when you try
It
to
does
do
get
that.
it gets small. Even if you gonna open your mind and say, okay, I'll do something different. Hey, like the sister said, beyond financial issues, I'm telling you, because your spirit gotta be right. You gotta be emotionally intelligent some kind of way. And these things are lacking with our brothers. I'm just saying.
It's lacking with everybody.
Well, I guess thank you.
It's lacking with everybody. I see the same thing. That's what I said. We gotta heal. You know,
we do gotta heal, and there's no time limit on that. So I guess I'm gonna go into my healing mood and just close my eyes to everything else, and whatever happens for me will happen for me. That's what I'm gonna do. What y'all gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta let
Are you married, Queen Nubia? Are you married? I never asked you. You're not. Are you dating? You dating?
Sometimes.
Okay.
But
well, how is your dating world? Where are you at? What part of the world are you in, and how's your dating world? I might have to move.
I'm in Boyd's, Maryland. I'm in Boyd's, and it's not too many. I still go to New York a lot. That's where I'm from. I still go to New York a lot. I can't really find a brother who wants to move out here. They always want me to move back there, and I'm not moving back out to New York. So I kind of got comfortable being single, enjoying my life, doing what I want to do. I go out on dates sometimes, but like African, I've dated some African men out here.
Nigerian, Kenyan, Ghanaian, what?
Ghanaian and Togo. While they treated me nice, they treated me well. It just didn't. It couldn't work. No. So yeah, I'm just enjoying being single right now, and I do enjoy it because it's giving me some time.
I'm embracing mine too. Absolutely,
I am just enjoying it. But I do want someone. I do. But I can't move. I can't uproot my life and move back. I can't do that.
So if the perfect man for you came into your life and invited you into his, and it was about a relocation issue, you wouldn't relocate if he had everything set up and he had. You wouldn't relocate? Why are you laughing, Ken? Would you relocate if your Empress came into your life? I know it's 30 years and we're all healing. Right now, hypothetically.
I probably would. Because I'm different though, because I just got out of a relationship and I'm adjusting, trying to figure out life right now, how that looks without that. So
absolutely.
That could just as well be too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I have a 19-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter. So yeah, they're still with me. Yeah. They don't have to be with me. They can live with their dad in New York, but they choose to be here. But no, I don't think I'm relocating. They would have to be out the house. I would have to be an empty nester.
Empty nester.
Think about that.
Yeah. See, I don't have children, so it's always been easy for me to move around and do, that desire in that area as far as living foreign and stuff like that. And it does make a difference when you have children. I often think about had my daughter lived, would I move the way I moved? But I think I would have. That's just me.
But he could come to me. He could come live with me.
Yes. Most men want to provide that. They don't want to move in with you. Most of them.
Yeah, most men that's established and set.
That are established and trying to do the right thing and not be
I've already had this situation like about 11 years ago. with someone else about the moving thing. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can. I don't think I can. At least not now.
Okay.
It would have to be the right situation. And I'm a
Yeah.
traveler too, because I'm always traveling. So
Mm-hmm.
as long as it don't inhibit that,
Yeah.
you know. And if I
Yeah.
don't like it, I move.
It does make things difficult trying to do that because I remember last year, when I come here 3 months and then I'm there 9 months. And that every day, that's not something people even meet or come across every day. They'd be like, what? And then, so it's foreign. It's normal to say, fly back with me. Let's get to know each other. You'll stay at my place. I'll take you. They'd be like, what? That's just like not something you hear every day, but that's a normal conversation for me. So I know my situation is going to be something that maybe drop out the sky or floating on their own cruise ship boat or something down. Just something passing through one island and coming across another one. And last time I was coming from South Africa, the plane stopped in the UK. That date came about through that. Just some old crazy wild stuff, But who knows? Maybe I'll be on a dirt road, walking somewhere on a dirt road in a village, and maybe my king will be coming the other way. And who knows? Mine gonna have to be real different.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what? Meeting somebody now, you're gonna always meet a man that has a woman. That's another thing. You're gonna always meet a man that has a woman. There's a woman, one or two.
Yeah, can't stop acting like polygamy is off the table. That is today. You know what? I tried to get my nephew on here, y'all. Last year when I was here, guess what he said before I left and got on that plane? He said, Natural, I'm so glad I ain't got to cheat no more. And he bought both of them to me. That was last year.
Wow.
Is he religious?
Not at all. Absolutely not.
There you go. Is his queens religious?
No, the brown, beautiful chocolate one was raised Islamically, but she wasn't a Muslim. She just know what it is for a man to have more than one wife. She was raised that way. But the other one was like Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, kind of feisty little,
I mean, I think it's all an individual thing at this point in the world we're in.
Yeah.
That's why I said we're trying to bring something that was tribal and a village thing into this world. You're gonna have to do it differently.
Well, they ain't even doing it in the village no more. It's all jacked up. I'm telling you.
As I say, we both travel, so we know. You see it, but my traveling, I only see it in religious countries and indigenous cultures. I haven't seen a civilized nation.
Civilized, decent, and in order. Okay. Well, listen.
I'm gonna say civilized, but you know what I mean.
I hear you.
You know, because it's not the norm in South Africa until you get into the indigenous tribes, right?
Until you get into the village life, yeah. But if you go down Johannesburg, Johannesburg just like New York City. I mean, he might have 2 or 3, but it'll be like a cheating thing. It'll be like a cheating thing.
A cheating thing. Yeah.
I just don't know how people are more open, more prone to cheating than polygamy. I don't get that to save my life. But
I think if everybody was on the same page and they would have to build that themselves in the society we in here. That's the only way that would work. I'm just saying in indigenous cultures, everybody in the village know what's going on. You kind of in a way does not had to do that, but it was almost best for you because you can live better.
Absolutely.
This one brought something else to the table. This one brought some cows. This one did this, and
absolutely
family in the bed. And we could do the same thing here. It's just not natural. We're gonna have to work and do it, or however we do it. You'd have to figure it out, but it won't be in that society like that. And then anybody that look at it is gonna look at it differently here. And if you take it out of a civilized society, us as a people, any other culture could do it. Us as a people, it's gonna look cultish. At the end
That's
of the
a
day.
shame.
But that can change. I don't know. That's
It
just my
has to
observation.
change, or everybody's gonna keep settling for cheating. Because
is that
cheating
just
is at an all-time high everywhere. Here in the islands, everywhere.
But,
Everybody's cheating.
but people expect that now.
They
Everybody
do
just
expect it. They
That's
accept
it's
it.
like, oh wow.
They
And that's
expect it
why
and they accept it.
and that's why men and women can't get really close like that, because they're always thinking, because they know what people are going to do. They know that, if it's a man who travels a lot, his woman might be, and vice
Yeah.
versa. And a lot of times, and these women are so bold. These women out here got 2 and 3 men, and they don't care. Like, they don't care. They
Yeah.
baddies. They baddies. They got the body
Yeah.
and all
Exactly.
that, and they don't care.
Exactly.
They don't care. They cold blooded with it too.
It goes
Cold
both
blooded.
ways. That's what
I
I'm
was like,
saying.
oh
We
my
got healing to
goodness.
do. Not,
What
I
you
know
say?
it's in man nature. It could be. I don't know if that's his nature or if that's just lack of discipline. Because then there's the
Lack of
argument could be
discipline,
made
I
about
probably.
the
think
woman.
I think it's in the African's man DNA. I think it's in his DNA. I think that's why African men, black men, have a difficult time having
I
just
think
one
so.
woman.
That might be true.
They
What about
born
women though?
kings
What
and
about black
queens, not
women?
because I said so.
Is it easy for black women to remain loyal and to not cheat? Is that easy?
I think it is if he's being fair with her, if he's open and honest and communicating properly with her. I think a woman will love her man and stay committed to him if he's acting like a real man. But we don't have a lot of real men out here, King.
But
They
those things
coming
don't
through
make
your
the
life
woman.
begging and all kinds of shit.
Those things don't make the woman feel better when she has to split her time, and she knows that he's going to go be with another woman. And I mean, who wants to think about that? Your man is being pleasured by another woman, and no matter how properly he does it, how jealousy still happens because it's not natural. It's not natural for a woman to share the man that she's intimate with. He has one penis, she has one vagina. They're together, supposedly one flesh, and now she has to split everything with this man. Yet,
Well,
men will talk about women bringing another man's energy in, but he's bringing another woman's energy in.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It only gets talked about when it's us, not them. So I hear you on that one.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
those who want to make it work, they can make it work. But a lot of times women have to dumb themselves down because what we've been fed so far, you can't be selfish. If you're feeling jealous, that's something that you have to grow through because you're jealous.
I think jealousy, a little jealousy is probably normal. I think that's.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all, my battery ran dead. I'm so sorry, and I don't have my charger down here. Wow, this was good. So listen, we're gonna have to end the conversation because I don't want it to go out on us. It just showed me and it's starting to get dark.
Okay.
I love you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Love you too.
For the reasoning. Oh, it's gone. Okay, thank y'all so much. Love and rest. Maybe we'll just try to do a part 2 or something.
All right.
Yes.
Love and respect. I love you both. The other person didn't even come. Until next time, beautiful people. Okay.
Bless. All right.
All right.